welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Well, hello, you guys. Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers today, Chapter 5. To all of my book lovers out there and storytellers and people all over the world, welcome again to another day with me in my author booth. And so we are streaming on all social media platforms right now. So what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe. And do me one more favor, will you? Share this link with somebody else, okay? So that they too can get a little spiel of what's going on here today. So without further ado, I, of course, am Tish Barnhardt, the author of So You Want to Be a First Lady. And I have the privilege of interviewing today one of my friends, LaShonda Carter today. She is a first lady as well. And so I wanted to make sure to be able to interview her. And so let's welcome her to the stage right now. Let's welcome. Hello. How are you, my friend? Hello. Can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me? All right. Fabulous. How are you today, my friend?
I am doing well. So excited for this book that you have and just being able to be one of the first people who actually saw it in the beginning stages. It was just such a blessing. And after seeing the actual finished product, it was just awesome. And I cannot tell you enough that the book was like, wow.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I know that I had asked you in reference to a favorite part, of course, of the book. And so I wanted to read the section, of course, that you liked and that stood out to you. But before we do that, I want to show our audience today the book trailer for So You Want to Be a First Lady.
The moment you've all been waiting for. The book by master storyteller Tish Barnhardt. So you want to be a first lady? Well, her life isn't always what it seems. Beyond the veil lies the deceit, the lies, and the manipulation, featuring the distraught Carol Smith, master manipulator Leroy Smith, and the sneaky, conniving harlots and Jezebels using their immoral, seductive flattery to destroy the man of God, his marriage, and disrupt the ministry. Order your copy now on Amazon and all other retail outlets.
Wow. Now, was that not an enticing book trailer? Oh my gosh, I think I want the book myself now. And so, Lady LaShonda, you expressed how, of course, the book was very good and it kept you kind of on the edge of your seat and everything like that. And so you also did a Amazon review for us as well. And so I wanted to take an opportunity to read that review. And Frida Green said, "Looking good, LaShonda. It's nice to meet you."
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the review that First Lady wrote for us. All righty. It says, can you blow it up for me a little bit back there? All righty. Thank you. Wow. All I can say is, woo. Ain't no way that all happened in and out of the church. Ain't no way, believe me. All the twists and turns in this book will have you screaming at this book wherever you are. I was reading the book while my husband was driving the car. It had, and I let out a scream. I don't recommend, by the way, reading it in the car. He almost ran off the road. I was reading this book in bed and screamed once again, woke his butt up and all that. And my husband is sick of me. And he said, I can't read this book around him anymore. I don't care, child. So I read the book in a room by myself until my 16-year-old daughter decided she wanted to know what I was reading, and took my book and marked a bookmark on where she had stopped reading from. And then placed the book back in my room. I literally can't make this stuff up. Y'all better get the book because it's going to be a movie soon. Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, somebody is going to make this a movie. Wow, I really appreciate that review, girlfriend. So you done ran your husband off the road reading the book with these screams, girl.
I guess because I wasn't ready for it. I don't know what I was ready for. I was just reading, and then it just kind of comes at you.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have a vivid imagination, so on and so forth.
Right.
That's kind of how that happened. And I was just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He thought something was legitimately wrong with me.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't. He said, and then he said, you know what, you got to stop this because I can't drive like this. You just stop reading the book around me altogether. Right? And I was like, fine, I'll just go somewhere else.
That is too funny. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. You're screaming and they go going on and got your husband thinking something wrong with you and all that good stuff. All because you sitting up here reading So You Want to Be a First Lady. Well, listen, I have a couple of questions for you, of course, today, my friend. And so, before I go into those questions, I need to read your section that you like. Okay, so let's hop into the section that you like real quick. All righty, Here goes, you guys. After being back in town, she begins getting ready for the night service that was planned. Pastor Smith has a guest speaker coming to bless the house through the word of God. They get in the car and ride to the service. They meet in the back with the ministers and the guest speaker for prayer. As everyone prepares to walk out into the sanctuary, Sister Mindy reaches to grab Pastor Smith's personal things he needed for the pulpit before any one of the other ministers could assist. First Lady eyes her with disdain. Sister Mindy's acts were more than a coincidence to help Pastor Smith. They were intentional and purposeful. First Lady knows that Sister Mindy believes she is now somehow connected to Pastor Smith on a personal level. After the praise team ushered in a powerful anointing, Evangelist Coles begins to speak. First Lady is so glad that Pastor Smith selected her to preach because she was such a true blessing to the church the last time she came. As Evangelist begins to minister, Everyone appears to be enjoying her preaching, saying amen and clapping their hands. In fact, she is flowing so closely with the anointing as she begins to walk off the pulpit, she misses a step and accidentally rolls down the stairs. First Lady tries to hold back the chuckle and tries to quiet the kids down as they laugh out loud, pointing at her. Pastor Smith and a few of the men and women go over to help her up. She is a rather large woman, and thankfully, she is not hurt. She gets herself together and then begins to prophesy to Pastor Smith all the great things she sees the Lord doing. Then, suddenly, she reveals openly and to the entire congregation that she prophetically sees a young lady in the church who likes Pastor Smith and who has been trying to come between his marriage. First Lady thinks to herself, ain't that the truth? The church is quiet as a mouse. Evangelist Coles continues on saying to Pastor Smith, I want the young lady to come and apologize to you and your wife. The look on Pastor Smith's face was priceless. The look from the audience was simply mind-blowing. First Lady cannot believe this was happening, and although she believes there may be something romantic going on between them, she did not want the young lady or Pastor Smith to be embarrassed. Pastor Smith tells Evangelist Coles that it is not necessary for the girl to come forward. Evangelist Coles respects his wishes and continues to minister until the end of her sermon. Meanwhile, Sister Mindy, who has been sitting on the front row by the side window, listening to every word from Evangelist Coles, grabs her things and quickly leaves before the service ends. Eventually, Pastor Smith closes out the service and everyone begins to leave. First Lady had invited two of her friends in the city, Lady Boone and Sister Trina. They went over to her, hugged her neck, and gave words of encouragement because they could tell she had things on her mind from what had just happened. Sister Vicky, one of the members, also comes over to help First Lady with the kids, and they begin to walk toward the meeting room to meet Pastor Smith. Sister Vicky whispers behind First Lady and says, I'm so glad God called that mess out because I'm just so sick of it. First Lady hears her, but keeps walking and does not acknowledge her statement. However, she immediately knows that something has to be going on because Vicky and Mindy were best friends. Pastor Smith and the First family get in the car to leave, and First Lady addresses him with what just happened. Pastor Smith tells her that he did not think that the young lady liked him, and it was wrong of Evangelist to call Sister Mindy out like that. First Lady says, Evangelist Coles did not call the name of the lady, nor even point in her direction. Not that she would know her anyway. Sister Mindy made herself look obvious by getting mad and grabbing her stuff, leaving the service. So it does look like something is going on here, Leroy. Now tell me the truth. Pastor Smith still tells her that nothing is going on and to drop it. First Lady tells him that Sister Vicky whispered to her after the service was over, but Pastor Smith still denies that anything is going on. They continue to argue for a minute, and finally, she turns her head to the window and just cries. First Lady is hurt, embarrassed, and just does not want to be bothered with by Pastor Smith. She wonders what the kids thought. Although they were very young, everything is going through her mind as she continues to weep. Now, that's all I'm going to read for the story there. So I'm going to give you just a few nuggets here so you know the why behind all of this, okay? All right, wisdom nuggets. First Lady, speak up when women ignore you, but ask to speak to your husband constantly. You do not have to be mean, but address it in love, as the women do see you standing there with him and know very well what they are doing. Do know they will not like what you are saying or may catch an attitude, but your voice needs to be heard and they need to know that their behavior is not okay. Now, speak up, say something. Now, if your brother sins and go, show him his fault in private. If he listens to you, you have gained your brother. Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. Pastors, never go out of town. Now, this is good for being two or anywhere with a woman alone. Always have someone else with you, even if it's innocent and nothing is going on. You should want to ensure that your wife is secure in knowing that you value her opinion and concerns with it. Do not give any room for anyone to sabotage or distort your reputation and character as a pastor. You never know who you may run into while you're out or who may see you that you are not aware of. Abstain from every evil. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22. Now, women of God and people, they want to be the first lady. Do not want to ride around town or be up around another woman's husband or your pastor all the time. It is easy to become infatuated with him, especially if you are single and or have motherly fatherly issues, abandonment issues, or you see in him what you want in your future spouse. Do not become so comfortable with him, allowing yourself to cross boundaries that you know you should not cross. You may mean well, but you must maintain a level of respect for him as well as his wife and their marriage. Do not call their homes and bypass his wife to ask for the pastor without speaking to his wife first. We do realize that you may need to speak to him directly as he is your leader. However, if she picks up the phone, make sure to speak to her. By not doing so, it makes you look as if you have a certain agenda and is also a form of disrespect. If you have no agenda, you should be okay speaking to his wife, having a short conversation with her, seeing how she's doing, then ask to speak to the pastor. Now, these nuggets are not only for pastors and first ladies, but any man or woman that may be going through these things right now. Please stop. Men, cover yourselves. You just might save your marriage. Ladies, if you find yourself fantasizing about another woman's husband and doing things you know you should not do, it's time to back up and not allow yourself to fall in the mousetrap. Once you get trapped, it's hard to get out of it. No matter how much you try to wiggle and get out of it, it's got you. Like the real mouse, because he wanted the cheese, but he didn't know he was about to get caught up. All right, so that's enough right there. So, First Lady, tell us why this was your favorite part of the chapter.
This part had a lot of emotion. So I got my laughter in there. I got the embarrassment, the shock, the realness, of the situation. Right where you have a prophetess literally telling you who it is and what they need to do, and then but the laughter. I'm a person. I love to laugh. I don't care where I am.
Right.
I don't care. I'm gonna laugh. Okay. Because, that's something joy. They say it's nothing like having joy. And laughter can get you through a lot of things. And I am pretty sure that laughter got her through that embarrassment, because that is embarrassing.
Yes. Absolutely. I can only imagine, of course, and for being in First Lady's shoes, all of the things, that, one would have to weather. And certainly I know that it was a very trying time, of course, for her, as we can see throughout the book. But she was able to weather through a lot of those things by the grace of God, for sure. By the grace of God, for sure. And so I see a comment there. It says Linda Sanchez said, undoubtedly, the content flow of this book is incredible. Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, First Lady, I have another question for you. So, in your opinion, who can benefit from this book?
I definitely believe men, women alike. Lots, Christians. Even if you're not a Christian, if you're just in a situation where you can't necessarily address something the way you need to. That is another way to do it, because, the church is supposed to be the safe place, right? So I think that's a good place to address a lot of things, Now, maybe not necessarily from the pulpit now. But definitely a place where you can feel safe and comfort and understand that there should not be any alternative motives that it is about God, it is about Christ. You are a Christian, so in that regard, I definitely think it is something for Christians, because you don't think, right off the bat, that these things happen in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
that floored me. I'm just going to be honest with you. It floored me, but the fact that there was comedy in there was hilarious to me. I'm not even going to lie, because I probably been one of them people just laugh. I probably had to walk out the church because I was laughing. So I'm telling you, been me.
Yeah, there definitely is some very comical sections, within the book and so forth, as well as some serious sections too, because there's definitely times that I think, as you call it, a twist and turns, an emotional roller coaster. So it's like you up, you down, you're like, oh my gosh, like what in the world, and so most definitely, it's real talk and it is real life, and I believe that that's one of the things that God wanted to bring forth is the realness, of what does happen. And like you said, it's not just for pastors and first ladies, because these types of things, are going on in homes everywhere, all across the world, not just in the U.S. and North Carolina where we are, but it's going on all over the world. I don't care where you are. Relationships are challenging. And so we have to learn how to set boundaries, and especially boundaries within the church walls, because there's so many people that desire to be in that person's shoes, whether it is the first lady's shoes or even the pastor's shoes sometimes, because you got, some out there that waiting on the pastor to check out of here so they can take the spot, so and it's just real talk, but we find that people oftentimes will look at things as if it's very green on that side. And so oftentimes we don't know the real things that they endure or experience behind the closed door, right? And so we're not going to always just pull the curtain back and say, hey, look at this, no, but there are some real things that are going on. And so I believe that the book certainly, and I know, has been helping, men and women, and girls alike. And so thank you so much for sharing that with us. Let's see. Catherine B. McGuire said, I feel as though I am a part of the tale because you are the one telling it. Thank you. Thank you for liking my voice there. JP said, that's an excellent excerpt reading. Tish, as always, just want to ask, what accountability structures can be implemented within a church to support pastors in their commitment to avoiding temptations? That's very, very good. So when it comes to counseling, having counseling sessions, because sometimes our parishioners, will need to be able to talk to someone or talk to you about the things that they're experiencing or going through. And so one of the things that I find is that oftentimes either the pastor or the wife or what have you may take meetings with the parishioners alone. And so that's one real red flag. We don't want to ever really do that, especially being a married couple. You want to have your spouse in the meeting with you, because you never know what those person's agendas is. Some people may genuinely be coming in because they really do need help, but then there may be others that are coming in there specifically with an agenda. They want to talk to you about their issues, but while they're talking, oh, pastor, oh, first lady, because I've had people to come and want to give me a holy kiss right on the cheek. No, get your mouth off me. Ain't you married? So, it's just things like that. You have to be able to set those boundaries, and make sure that you don't cross them. And so, men, women, we have to cover ourselves in that way. And, it's just putting that extra layer of a boundary there. So that's definitely something that you need to do. And if a person lets you know that they don't want your spouse in a meeting with you, like we found in First Lady Carol Smith's place, there were oftentimes people that did not want First Lady in the meeting with them. And so you as a spouse and a husband, That's one reason not to take the meeting, right? Because things come and can develop out of that. And especially now, if you're already in a situation that you're going through at home yourself, maybe with your spouse, and then you have someone coming into the meeting talking about something that's going on with them or what have you, you just never know where the conversation can go. And so what can happen and what comes out of that. So we definitely want to make sure that if that's being openly said, then chances are that person has an agenda. And so you definitely want to watch that. So most definitely, that was a good question. That was a good question. Absolutely. All right. So First Lady, I've got another question for you, my friend. So now, if you were in First Lady Smith's shoes, how would you have handled some of those situations? Or do you think you would have been able to handle it as First Lady did in some of the instances there?
In this particular situation, I'm going to be honest with you. I probably, once we picked the lady up, once she got up and she was standing and all was well, I think I would have taken my kids and myself and I would have left. But that was just me, you know. She did it more of, graceful and but everybody's different personality.
Of course. Yeah.
But I would have left. Even though I the laughter was there, the prophetic word was going forth. I have very low tolerance for foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
I would have left him dealing with them. He's my covering, so I would have left him dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because that's something that I shouldn't have to. He's supposed to cover me. He's supposed to protect me, and he's supposed to protect me from all things, not just in the church, but outside of the church.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing. So yeah, in my situation, I would have left, and I've done that.
She say, and I have done that. I ain't got time for all these shenanigans. Okay.
When something was out of whack, or if it was spiritually off, I won't go into church. I won't. I will. I've done times where I've sat in the actual car and not moved. Yeah, y'all go ahead. Y'all go on and church, but I'm be right here because I know my spirit's not right. And I know I can't help anybody because I need help myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and especially, if you're sitting there and, something like this is coming across and, certainly it can be embarrassing, for something like that being said. And then especially when you see someone that's in there, get up and absolutely leave, like that's a good indicator that, well, maybe they're talking about that person, because you openly just left. And so, of course, hey, these situations do happen and it's real talk. And I agree with you. People will handle things in different ways. And so you never really know how you'll handle them until you're in the thick of it. So Robert Smith said, you ladies are absolutely bursting with energy. What a wow. Okay, what else do we have there? I know we have some other comments that I wasn't able to get to. So I wanted to kind of address some of those and respond to those real quickly. All right. Mia said, excellent trailer. Makes the book 100 times more interesting. Girl, yes, honey. Yes, with those harlots and Jezebels seeking to. Okay, so we've got Cassandra Wood. She said, you have such a gripping way of storytelling. Thank you so much, Cassandra. Thank you so much. I never visioned myself, you guys, as a storyteller, but then, I just heard God say to put the audible to it and narrate it, and so I've never done it before. It's my first time narrating, guys, and I'm telling you, I'm loving it, and it's coming along really well. All right, Linda J. Sanchez said, undoubtedly, the content flow of this book is incredible. Thank you so much. Yes, I seen that one earlier. Thank you so much, Linda. All right. Robert Smith said, it's always a blast to have boundless energy. I find myself at my peak when I've had a couple of Red Bulls, LOL. Now, okay, listen, I'm going to need you to get some healthy drinks, okay? The Red Bulls ain't good for you, but I understand. You got to get that energy in. And, I haven't had any Red Bulls, by the way, okay? All right, QR said, a must read. Grab a copy of Tish's book now. I agree, QR, yes. That's my friend back there, you guys. QR, love him. All right. Joyce Thompson said, the First Lady is such a sensational character. She'll be inspiring and empowering to readers out there. You are absolutely right, Joyce. Definitely will be empowering to women out there and readers out there because of the nuggets in and of itself are definitely key there. All right, let's take another comment. I think we're almost done on our time today. Chloe Lopez said, this book helps us understand that even in the face of our hardships, God's might always provides freedom. You are absolutely right, Chloe. Absolutely. I'm telling you, without God on our side and leading us, I don't know where many of us would be. And I mean, I can speak for me too. I don't know where many of us would be. All right, they're flashing one more. Selma Lyman said, what's the main message you wish to share with your readers? So what I want to share with you today, as you pick up So You Want to Be a First Lady, I am hopeful that it will challenge you in your love walk, that it will challenge you in your faith walk. We'll find many instances in here where you'll say to yourself, oh my goodness, how in the world? What would I do? And I want you to ask yourself that too. What would I do if I was in this situation? And if you are a person that is seeking out this person's position, I want you to pay attention to those nuggets there so that you aren't doing these things and understand that God does have someone for you, right? If you're looking for a husband or whatever, or a wife, but it is not the married person's spouse, okay? He doesn't have her for you or him for you, but he does have someone out there for you. And so for the men, I want to convey in this, sometimes we don't always listen to our wives, we can be chatty sometimes or naggy sometimes. And of course, the Bible talks about not doing that, right? And so we do also have to know how to harness that and pull back a little bit, and sometimes let a person hit the wall if that's necessary, because sometimes we have to. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that as you're looking at these nuggets, that you're taking heed to them, so that you don't open yourself up to being able to succumb to the various temptations out there. All righty, Robert, I will keep up my energy. Thank you all so much, and thank you, First Lady, for coming on and sharing with us today. I know that we've had some challenges with our technical difficulties today, but that's okay. We could hear everything just fine. And listen, thank you out there for tuning into my author booth today with the Festival of Storytellers Chapter 5. I want you to tune back in with me tomorrow at 1. I will have another guest on here, you guys, that will be sharing as well. And so Patricia will be coming on tomorrow. She went with me to Germany. So some of you at Readers Magnet, hey, we're going to see Patricia tomorrow. So listen, thank you once again. And as we say here at Reader's Magnet, we share your stories with the world. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Bye now.